Jasmine Shelton, you said everything you do is grounded in the purpose that God has for your life. Take me back to where you were first introduced to God, not just religion, but God Himself.
Yeah. So I feel like I've had so many encounters with God. And just, so I'm trying to think of one that's like the earliest. Maybe when I was about 21, I had heart surgery. And that was a time where I always believed in God. Like it was always something that I believed in, but I didn't pray every day. And I wasn't like close to Him. But leading up to that, like in that year, I really felt like I needed to get closer to God. And because I felt like leaning on God was the most important thing to get me through that surgery.
Yep.
And so I do remember it was literally like a voice that I heard, him telling me that I was going to be okay. And so in that week of my surgery, the beginning of the week, I was super nervous. By the time it got to like a couple days before the surgery, hearing that voice, I was like, I'm okay. And I am okay. That was literally 11 years ago. And yeah, I'm fine. But literally leaning on Him is what got me through that. So, but there are so many other times and so many other examples, but that's one early one. Yeah.
Did you grow up, I guess, in a religious household, and what was your background like with that?
Not really. Like I said, we always believed in God, but like going to church consistently, like every Sunday, and getting baptized and things like that. Like we didn't actually do that. My mom was baptized, but she didn't. I guess I don't want to say force us to go to church every Sunday, but that wasn't like a part of something that we always did. We could go if we wanted to, but it wasn't. It wasn't consistent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel that too. It's almost I kind of grew up a little similar with, you know, we would go to church maybe for Easter and for Christmas, and but when it came to the normal weekends, we weren't really attending. But it wasn't like a no, you shouldn't do that. It was yeah, it just wasn't something that was, I guess, to us at that time so important.
Mm-hmm.
Like we needed to take that extra time every week, to go to church. So I completely understand that.
Yeah, with that being said, though, I do think that as an adult, I see it as more important. I see it as something that I want to do. And so I appreciate like not having it forced upon me as a kid, because then I got to make that decision on my own to
Mhm.
want to do that as an adult. Because I know so many people who were forced to go to church every Sunday as a kid and Bible study and all the things, and now they don't want to see a church. Not that they don't believe in God, but they don't want to go to church. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah. And it's definitely something where I feel like you should try and probably get your kids to go, but like you said, the forcing and because there's always going to be that issue, even if, let's say, you didn't force your kid to go to church, but they meet a friend in high school and that friend is a Christian and they detour them off the path. And maybe they're not a correct living Christian, I guess you would call it, a obedient Christian. So they're doing all these things. And I think often that tears people away from Christ is the
Mm-hmm.
hypocrisy in the religion, and it can make them so there's so many things that can pull them away. And I think definitely that rootedness, but that open love too, like never, this needs to be like this. And if you don't get, like I completely agree with you on that. Absolutely. Well, just real quick for the viewers who don't know you, how would you describe yourself?
I don't know
Sorry
why
for
I'm
throwing
laughing.
it at you. I just want people to kind of have a basis of who you are.
Gotcha. I'm laughing because I'm so many things. I feel like I do so many things. Like I'm a podcaster, obviously, the Stream of Thought podcast. I love that. And I am a PhD student at the end of my program. I'm a wife, and that's great. But I also love home decor. Like it's just so many things that I love to do, and my mind is always racing. So I would say if I had to describe myself to someone in one word, it would be multifaceted. Like I am
Multifaceted.
so
Yeah.
multifaceted. I'm also very curious about everything and just willing to learn. So yeah,
Yeah, and that I think is fascinating too. Your podcast is literally called Stream of Thought, and it's all
yeah.
about your thoughts that come in. And
Mhm.
what made you want to start this podcast? You know, there's a difference, I guess, between having these thoughts and pushing these thoughts out to other people as well.
Yeah. So before I even thought of the podcast, I was always the type of person that just like rambled all the time. Like I always have something to say. I always have these thoughts and like I'm always asking, well, why? Well, what if, and if this happened, what happened? And I was always not annoying, but maybe a little bit to like my mom and like friends and like my husband. Like I was always asking questions about questions. And so one day I literally was just like, oh, well, maybe I could just film it. Like it just randomly came to me, and that was probably God. Everything is God. So I think that, yeah, I think that randomly I just sat in front of the camera and filmed myself, and it was so weird because while some people may not believe this because I talk a lot, I'm actually introverted. So the fact of me being in front of the camera and being comfortable in front of the camera was so like weird to me, but it was natural. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and if you want to take it biblically, so many people in the Bible, so many of the important people, in the Bible, Moses and people like that were introverts. They were very not that confident and,
yeah,
people that you would probably, King David, people that you would probably never expect to have such an
hmm,
impact on the world and such an impact through God,
yeah,
because they weren't the big talkers or they weren't, but
yeah,
they probably had a lot of thoughts and a lot of conversations with God flowing, and God often uses a lot of purpose through them, which is really
yeah.
cool. It's powerful.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Well, what is God teaching you right now in this very season of your life?
Um, I think I think God is always teaching me this in some aspect because I struggle with it so much, and that is patience. Like I have a hard time being patient because I want to get things done when I want them done, and but I have to realize, and I think God reminds me of this. I don't want to say daily, but often that things happen in His time, not my time. You make plans and God laughs, sort of thing. That's what people always say. And in my mind, I have a lot of plans and I have a schedule and I have notes and I have all these things. But I think God is sitting back like, girl, you need to wait on me. And so I think, I really think that's how God talks to me, like in a very direct way. Like you have to learn to wait because it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen necessarily in the way that you wanted to or exactly when you wanted to. So,
Yeah, that's powerful, powerful, and I think so many people, including myself,
hmm,
can definitely learn patience. And patience with it's tough. It's very tough, and especially when you make those sacrifices, when you choose to walk in obedience, it's almost like you feel like, oh, okay, I'm walking in obedience. I'm doing what you would want me to do. Why is
yeah,
nothing happening? Why is this not happening? Why is And but I think the a good perspective to always have is if God were to deliver you those things early and you weren't, they would crumble in front of you
hmm,
many
hmm,
times. It wouldn't even last. And so it's like oftentimes it's these things that we're asking for, oh, I want it now. I want it like, please just deliver it. I've been working for it. Like, where's it at? Where's it at? But God's like, oh no, I'm saving you right now. I'm building you. And I know it's tough to go through those growth periods, but I'm making sure that whatever it is that does come, that dream that does unfold for you, it's sustainable. It actually lasts, and it's a hard thing to grasp. It's so difficult, and it's something I struggle with every day.
so I'm
It
not
just
alone. That's good.
yeah. So it's tough. Well, what are I'm just curious. So through, I just want to jump back to that Stream of Thought podcast real quick. What are some of those lessons that you've learned through the Stream of Thought podcast, outside, of course, just releasing your thoughts as well?
Um, I think that I've I've learned to be even more open-minded to other people's opinions. I think that because the whole point is to tell my opinions, but I post it on these social media platforms. I put it on YouTube, because I want people to comment. I want you to tell me, like, do you disagree, agree, whatever the case, in a respectful way, But I think that hearing other people's opinions has really opened my mind to like think more. Like, oh, that's what you thought about that. I didn't even think that far into it, or I didn't even look at that perspective. And I think it's really taught me that even more that not everything is black and white. There's always a gray area, and people should live in that gray area because it's not always just super like one way or the other. So I think that's the main thing that I've learned.
That's powerful. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Well, what
Yeah.
are some daily habits that keep you rooted in God and in your faith?
Yeah, so I do devotionals every day with the Bible app. I think that's really important. I either heard somewhere or just thought of it myself that the first thing, like that you when you wake up is that you do is it should be rooted in God. And so I try not to get on Instagram, try not to get on Facebook. I try not to do anything or scroll on anything, but before I do the Bible devotional, because that should be the start of my day. And so while I'm not perfect with it, I try to make that a habit every day. So, yeah.
I think that's a great habit to have. Absolutely. I think instantly, when we wake up, whether you go to your phone or even if you just sit there and you don't like, you're not actively praying or you're not actively, like you said, being intentional with God,
Right.
your mind can race to just so many different things that can just pollute your mind and pollute that start to your day with things that shouldn't be in your mind. And so whether you're, like you said, writing a devotional, whether you're picking up that Bible, whether you're praying to God, that intentionality is so important, and it's so minuscule often in the meantime, right? Like in the moment, you don't, I guess, always feel like, oh, well, this is going to set my day up perfectly, because you're still thinking, oh, I have this to do at 12, I have this to do at 2, I have this to, so you have these thoughts. But
Hmm.
I think you can silence a lot of the pressure behind those
Hmm.
thoughts by praying, by doing your devotionals, by reading the Bible and things like that. So,
Yes.
and which is so difficult, I think, in today's world because of the noise. I think when you have, of course, our phones with access to all this information, all these people, and our mind, it seems like, obviously I didn't live back then in the past, so I guess I don't know, but it seems like our minds are just so much more racing all the time, um,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
more than normal. And it feels like it's because we live in a world of information, a world of do this, do this, do this, be productive, do this, do this, do this, like what can I do next kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's just even more important to root yourself in God and to slow down, and to just give your day to God, at the
Hmm.
very beginning of it and all throughout, and then also at the end as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
very, very,
I
very
would like
important.
to. I would like to do it at the end of the day as well. I haven't gotten to that point, but I think that that's also important because whatever happened in that day, I can end it with God. So yeah, and I pray, but doing a devotional, I think would be good at the end of the day too. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, what are your thoughts, just kind of now we're touching on that, of the digital world today and kind of the positives of it, but then also some of those negatives and kind of your thoughts on today's digital tech world that I feel like we're living in?
yeah, I feel like, well, the positives. I mean, obviously, we're using this platform. I use Instagram, I use YouTube, and all the other podcast platforms for my podcast. And I think that it can be positive in that way if you are saying positive things, and you're getting positive feedback back. But it can also be negative because, especially like the kids these days, like they only know social media. You know, it's bullying on there, it's predators on there, it's always something. And it's the saying where, you know, too much of a good thing can be bad, right? So I think that that's the problem. Like too much of it, it's oversaturated. It's too much information on there, so it can be overwhelming, overstimulating, and it can be dangerous. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I could not agree more with that. Um, what is your thoughts on ActsSocial as a platform? Curious on that.
I think it's good. I think having people who have the same faith and same beliefs, and I see so many posts about God and so many people having different podcasts, and I get a lot of good feedback from people on Act Social as well. So I think it's a really good platform.
Good.
It's different than Instagram because you never know what you're gonna get on Instagram, but Act Social is pretty consistent. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that is definitely that's always been I think the goal for Act Social is to realize that hey, when you go on to these mainstream platforms, you know your Facebook, your Instagram, there is absolutely wonderful content, very
Hmm.
benefiting content that you will come across, but they will throw other content your way too that you have no control over, regardless of
Hmm.
whether you follow them on TikTok or on Facebook or not. You know that they're going to throw you some toxic stuff. They're going to throw you some sinful stuff. They're going to just throw a bunch of things your way, and they'll sneak in a good video every now and then and make you feel good. But then they're going to drown out with all these other things and I think our goal was to just allow believers, people who are also curious on their faith and just of that nature, to have that narrow focus when they go onto social media. Of okay, well, when I'm on this app, it's prayer, it's praying for other people, it's posting gratitude, it's watching biblical content. It's all like helpful, and so just providing that you know digital sanctuary, so you will, for people to be able to rest in God's presence and to still have the social media aspects to it, but to be safe. And let alone, you want to talk about children, you want to talk about the youth and how they're impacted through these various platforms, Snapchat, TikTok, and things. It's can be extremely toxic for their growth and their mindset and just shaping who they are. And I think that was just a goal of Act Social, was to eliminate the toxicness. Let's get rid of the noise. And if you do want to come on social media, like, hey, here's a good place to be. Here's a loving place to be where you will more than likely only find yourself growing, or learning more about
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yep.
definitely was, yeah, because it's a double edged sword. There's a lot of benefit, and you have access to all these people that you would have never been able to talk to if it
Hmm.
wasn't for technology and for social media and things. But you have access to things that you probably shouldn't be consuming as well. So,
Exactly.
well, I appreciate you for sharing that as well. Um, well, every testimony has a turning point. I know you mentioned the heart surgery as
Hmm.
well. What was, I guess everyone's got a valley that they went through, a valley of maybe they're distant, maybe they're astray from God. Did you ever have a season like that? A very challenging season for you that maybe you felt distant from God?
I had to take a sip of water for that one. Yeah, I did. So I always feel like if I encounter someone that maybe doesn't believe in God, I always say the same type of thing. If they say, "Oh, well, why do you believe in God?" And I'm like, or they ask, like, how do you know, like, you should believe in God? I'm like, you need to have your own journey with God. I can tell you all about God. I can tell you all about my journey, but you need to have your own. So, in order for you to feel close to Him, in order for you to believe in Him. So for me, um, I was just like that. I always believed in God, like I said, but I wasn't super close to him. My heart surgery made me close to him, but before that, well, actually, after that, I still was praying sometimes, but like not like super close, and definitely wasn't going to church like every Sunday or anything like that, and wasn't doing devotionals, didn't even know what that was. So about I would say like 6 or 7 years ago, I was in a terrible relationship. It was very like abusive and everything. And I was in that relationship for about 9.5 years. And one day I was crying and like praying, and I was asking God, I was like, I need strength. I don't think I can do this on my own. I don't think I can leave on my own. I know what I need to do, but I don't think I can do it. So I need your help. And so literally a couple of days after that, um, I ended that relationship. I started going to therapy. And it was over. Obviously, I'm happily married now. I'm not with that same person or anything, but um, that was a turning point for me, because after that, not only was I in therapy, I was in church, I was praying every day, I was doing devotionals, like I was really leaning on God to get me through that. And I just kept it consistent in my good and bad times. So, and when I explain that story to people, they're like, okay, well, maybe I need, not saying you got to be abused. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but maybe you do need something to make that light bulb go off and make you feel like you want to get closer to God. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think you kind of touched on so many people get not, I guess, stuck in these relationships or in these certain times of their life. Maybe they're at a certain career and that career is drawing them away. Or maybe they're, like you said, in a relationship where that relationship is toxic in their mind that it's almost keeping them at a distance from God. What would you give, I guess, for advice for someone who may feel stuck right now and they're wanting to draw closer to God, but something is, maybe it's familiarity, or maybe it's comfort, maybe it's they're scared of what's going to happen next. What advice, I guess, would you give for that person? Before we continue with Jasmine's story, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about Focus on the Family. What Jasmine just shared, 9.5 years in an abusive relationship, feeling isolated, feeling alone, and wondering if God was even there. That story is more common than any of us want to admit. And Focus on the Family exists for that exact reason. They are a Christian nonprofit that has been walking alongside hurting families and individuals since 1977. More than 2 million families every year receive real, biblically grounded help in their marriages, their healing, and their hope. And if someone listening right now is in a situation they don't know how to get out of, they have a helpline, 1-800-A-FAMILY. That's 1-800-A-FAMILY. Real people, real help, Christ-centered. Because like Jasmine said, you don't have to do this alone. God sees you, and there are people who want to help. Visit focusonthefamily.com. All right, now let's get right back to Jasmine.
I think that sometimes you can think of the idea of getting closer to God as like this grandiose thing. And like, I really think that you can just start small, because honestly, for me, getting closer to God started with just a prayer. I was just talking to God, and it wasn't like anything crazy. I was just, when I'm in something that was sad or depressing or made me angry, I talk to God. And it's just like talking to yourself. So I think starting small is a recommendation that I would have for anyone that doesn't know where to go or doesn't know what to do. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think just another caveat to that would be wherever you find yourself going when you're in pain, when you're in hurt, when you're in a negative space in your mind or whatever that may be, wherever you find yourself going to, you need to be very mindful of, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, if someone's going through a tough chapter, maybe they run to alcohol, maybe they run to substances, maybe they run to someone, right? And that person is their God. That person is, oh well, you're my everything. I need you,
Yeah.
and they you can get stuck in those periods. And I would say, you start small, absolutely. You don't have to make it grand, but understand where you're going when you're in pain, when you're hurting, when you're sad, when you're depressed, when you're anxious. Where are you going? And if it's not to God, if it's not to the Bible, if it's not to worshiping the Lord, if it's not to, praying to God, where is it? Where are you going? And that is often the first thing that you need to change and grow with. I
And
would at
there's
least
also,
suggest.
oh, I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so one other thing I would say is that I think I had to remind myself a lot when I was in those moments that, God has something greater for me. Like this is just my now, and it may suck, but like there's something so much better. So just knowing that eventually you'll get to that gave me hope, and that
Yeah.
kept my faith. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, looking back now, is there a specific moment or moments, of course, however you want to approach it, where you, I guess, didn't see God's hand in something, but now looking back on it, you see God's hands were all over it.
Hmm.
So maybe in
Okay.
the moment where it was a struggle for you, but
Yeah. Yeah. So I can speak on that relationship again. So in that moment, I was like, I don't know where God is or what He's doing, but there's no way that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And honestly, it was some doubt and it was some anger in there because I was like, why would He let me go through this? You know.
yeah,
But now, years later, my dissertation is based around domestic violence victims or survivors, I'll say. So it's doing research on helping them navigate the criminal justice system and helping them get the support that they need. So not saying that I necessarily needed to go through that, but I did need to go through that because I found a way, or God made a way for me to turn my pain into purpose. So in that moment, I felt like He wasn't in it, but He was all over it. And now He's still all over it because it means something now. I'm doing something with it. So yeah.
no, I love turning pain into purpose too. I think that's a beautiful statement right there. Well, speak a little bit more on that because you are do you already have your PhD?
No, so
Yeah.
I am. Thank you for speaking that into existence. Because so I am at the very end. I'm literally doing the research. The research. I'm interviewing domestic violence survivors and getting their viewpoints and perceptions on their experiences. And so I'm in the data collection part, and then I have to defend my dissertation, and then I'm done.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And how has that been? I mean, that, I guess, researching domestic violence, researching, the justice system and all these, I guess, examples, how has that been to be face to face with pain? Obviously, assuming maybe you felt some of that through your own experiences, but also being able to witness that. How do you hold on to a good God in the middle of that?
Yeah, so like I said, it's been like almost 7 years, so I'm removed from it. And I also did therapy and I healed and I grew and all that stuff, which I would recommend, which I do recommend to any survivor so that they can get to the other side of it. But so while I can sympathize and relate to some of the things, I don't get as emotional because I'm not in it anymore and I'm removed from it. And I feel like sometimes I do have to pray in those moments though when I talk to people and I hear those stories because some things as expected are just really 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 dark. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question? Because I just got wrapped up in that first part.
You're good. It's how do you hold on to a good God when you're, I guess, witnessing such hardship and negative, moments.
Yeah. So, like I said, I pray, and I know that God is good. Even in your bad moments, God is still good, and God is always working, even in the background, even when you think He's not working. So I hold on to that, and I encourage the people that I talk to also hold on to that, because that's not the end of your story. That's just like a chapter in your book. And so you can write another chapter, and that one is going to be way better than this one. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that sense of control. Like, hey, you're not. I guess you got to be careful with. You're not a victim. I understand that you're experiencing what you're experiencing, but you're also not stuck. You're not
Yeah.
stuck. There's, like you said, there's better chapters ahead, and
Mm-hmm.
this isn't the end of your story.
Yeah.
And to lean on God, and I think even for people who are in it, to lean
Mm-hmm.
on God as much as you can and understand that He's with you. He sees the wrong that's happening in your life, and He will provide you a way out, and He will oftentimes turn your pain into purpose as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
thank you so much for sharing that. I think we just kind of touched on that. So, for a listener, I guess, walking through their own darkness of that, what truth about God specifically do you cling to?
That He's real. I think that's the thing that I had to cling to, because, like I said, I had doubts. I didn't know. I was like, where is He? Where are you?
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know if you've seen that movie. Are you there, God? Is me, Margaret. So
Oh,
that
yeah. Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
that's like, are
Perfect.
you there, God? It's me, Jasmine, and I felt like, and in those moments, you feel very alone, even though you have family, you have friends and things like that. The whole point of a domestic violence relationship is to isolate you. So you feel alone in that. And if you feel like you also don't have God, um, because you don't know how real He is, then that can make you feel even more lonely. So just holding on to the fact that He is real and He can really get you through this, and that, like I said, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You got to remind yourself of that every day, I think, when you're in something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the beauty, I think, of having that personal relationship with God too, is
Mm-hmm.
it's that perspective shift of, okay, God created the whole universe, He created everything, but also God cares about you
Mm-hmm.
specifically. There's
Yeah.
8 billion people out there, and it's almost like we have this, I guess, these thoughts of like, oh, does He really care about me?
Mm-hmm.
Is He really a living God? Is He in my day to day? Is He in my thoughts? Is He really listening to me? Is He really, watching me and helping me and guiding me and, steering me to His will? And I think, obviously, I would say He absolutely is,
Mm-hmm.
but a relationship with God, it goes two ways. God can chase you. He can run after you. He can throw this in your path. He can throw this. Hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Hey, I'm right here. And if you're not wanting to look up and to realize that He's right there and that He loves you, and that He wants the best for you,
Yeah.
regardless of whatever circumstance you're in right now, you won't find His presence if you don't seek His presence. You have to open your mind. You have to open your heart to Him. And I think it's a struggle for many people, and especially when they're already going through these hardships, these difficulties. They want to, like I said, chase whatever's easiest to them, whatever they've been doing for the last years. And they want to chase that and not realize, hey, sometimes it takes a shift in you as
Mm-hmm.
well to eventually get you out of that situation, to eventually move you from that
Yeah,
situation as well.
definitely. Definitely. You
So
got to meet God halfway. I always say that. Or meet Him somewhere. You can't, He's not going to do all the work. He's going to show you as much as He can, but you got to listen. So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, we talked about your PhD. So I guess when I want to go to your creative process. So you mentioned that you love cleaning your room. You love organizing. You love, I know, just wait, I'm going somewhere with it. That's the whole question. No, you love cleaning your room and that's a creative process. You also do the stream of thought. You're putting your thoughts out onto, video format, onto your pages through your devotionals. Creative processes is what those are. And how do you invite God, I guess, into those creative processes? How does that look for you?
Yeah, so um, I think that's something that God is in as well, because that's a part of a passion that I think He instilled in me. I love home decor. I love decorating. I love just like I could literally just be in a room and envision how I want it to look or how it could look in
Yeah.
a few different ways. And that's fun for me. It's always something I've been passionate about, like I said, and also something I've been excited to do. Like when I decorate a room, like it makes me happy. And some people,
I wish I
some,
had that gift.
right? Some people don't feel that at all. They're like, oh my God, this room. Like, I don't want to decorate this room. But to me, I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I can't wait to decorate this room. This is
Yeah.
like what I love to do. And so I do it for myself. I do it room by room in my new home, but I also do it for other people. I've decorated for family, for friends, and it just brings me excitement. And just to know that, hey, I helped them because they didn't know where to go with that. But I have this intuition and this gift from God to be able to help you transform your room or your space. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's you have a gift from God. That is, I think, the most beautiful thing that you just said right there is you
Yeah.
really, I might not be able to relate to your cleaning and other people might not be able to relate to that, but it is a gift to you from God. And,
Hmm.
and I guess I want to tail into this of, hey, when you come into a relationship with God, you don't have to drop everything that you love to do. You don't have to drop everything that you want to do, right? You
Hmm.
can, of course, you got to sacrifice some things. And maybe if there's sin in your life, you probably should push that out.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your passions, when it comes to things you enjoy, whether it's just, like you said, stream of thought and just releasing all your wonderful thoughts on the camera and doing your devotionals and PhD research and like just all these beautiful things, you don't have to drop all that to have a relationship with God. I think God is, He only asks to be a priority in your life, to be the foundation before it all, and for you to give back that gratitude to Him. Hey, I love organizing my room because it's a gift from God, and I'm thankful to God that I have this gift. Like
Hmm.
it's those things where I think makes such a big difference between you and another interior designer or someone who also likes organizing, who they're like, oh, it's me, me, me. Oh, I have this gift. I'm really good at this. Like it's just all me. I can do this, where they're not crediting God, they're not crediting the creator of their mind, of their thoughts that are coming in. I mean, there's your thoughts, and it happens from God. It's
Yeah.
sourced from God, and I just think that's such a powerful thing for people to know is you don't have to drop it all to have a relationship with God. You just have to realize who's the most important. You have to realize where these gifts are coming from. Whether you're a good golfer, whether you like organizing, or whether you can write amazing books, the gift comes from God. It's delivered from God. And I just love that mindset. And I really do wish I had your organizing skills. So definitely am lacking in that area. But um, oh, I guess we kind of touched on this, but I want to ask you, how do you turn ordinary, everyday moments into worship and into connection with the Lord?
So for me, I literally, like I said, I talk all day, but I talk to God all day. I pray all day, even about little things like, um, it was not too long ago that it was in flour. It was like a cross. And it was so random. It was like flour. I was like making cookies or something like I don't remember what I was baking, but in the flour it was a symbol of a cross. And I was like calling my husband, like, do you see this? Like this is real. Like this is God. God is in this. And so random moments like that where it just makes me just look up and be like, well, thank you, God, or pray, or just realize that like he's everywhere and in everything, even in things that you don't even think about him in. He's in it. I was making cookies. So
Yeah,
yeah.
right. But your mind and your heart is open to him, and that is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And he's an all-powerful God, and he will put that cross in that flower, and he
Yeah.
will do anything he can to kind of give you those little signs to let you know that he's there. Not that you should only just seek signs, but when you have that open heart, he does the most wonderful things. There's
Yeah.
times where I don't know. I mean, even my door, like there's a cross shape on my door, like
Mm-hmm.
the imprint of it. And
Yeah.
there's just times, man, where I look at it and it's like an instant, like I'm just looking at the cross. Like
Yeah.
I'm not looking at no door
Yeah.
right now. It's just
Yeah.
but I'm willing to see it like that. I'm willing to open my mind and understand that he will I guess allow you to see those signs if you
Right.
want to see those signs,
Yes.
and if you don't, then you're going to just see a door,
Right.
you're just going to see flour.
Right.
So,
When
and
God
I
knew that,
think,
you know?
yeah, right. And I think I would prefer to see something that's connecting me to, the Most High. So
That
that makes me feel a little bit more related to you. I love that. Oh, okay. Well, let's go into this. So curious, what is your favorite chapter of the Bible? If you had to pick one, like what is one that I guess sparks you? Are you more Old Testament, New Testament, and kind of where does your mind get drawn to? And I guess I asked that because I just interviewed on our last podcast a lady from Bulgaria,
hmm
and when she was young, she felt an instant connection to Revelation, which
mm,
to me is one of the hardest chapters to even wrap your mind around. But I think it just showed me like, oh crap, like we relate to different chapters heavier than other people. Of course, all chapters are beneficial in the Bible, but yeah, where does your mind kind of get drawn to, and what's like a go to for you, or maybe it's a quote, or what's your go to?
yeah. So when it comes to chapters, I don't. I can honestly say I don't know all the chapters of the Bible, and I can say that in the Bible app I have started reading the Bible, but I've never been that person that knows chapters. I know different sayings or quotes from the Bible and things that I can take that I can relate to in my life. So like one that really stands out to me is be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. So I have to remind myself of that all the time because sometimes I'm always doing things, I'm moving a lot and I'm always thinking, and sometimes I just need to be still and know that God is working and God is doing what he's supposed to do. And maybe I'm not supposed to overthink the situation. Maybe I'm supposed to just sit here and let him do what he's going to do. Um, Also, another one that stands out to me is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That is another one that I remind myself of every day when I'm going through the PhD, and it can be tough. Or maybe I'm just doing something tough in general, or when I was in that situation. Just know that God is going to get me through this.
Yeah, yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. And it's so cool how just words on a page
Mm-hmm.
can strengthen us and empower us so much. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah.
just There's something just magical, almost miraculous to that, and it just shows you, I guess, the power of God's word.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
can't beat it. There's a quote. It's I think it's in Psalms.
Mm.
I believe it's in Psalms. Don't don't hold that against me though. But it's open love is better than hidden rebuke.
Okay.
Nope, sorry. Open rebuke is better than hidden love.
Okay.
Then yeah, open rebuke is better than hidden love. And man, that quote hit me in a way that I've it was like a perspective shift to me of like I guess how I relate it to is when you have people around you, whether they're family, close friends, and people like that, and whatever their relationship is with God, when you see them going down a bad path, when they're going down a path that maybe it's full of sin, maybe it's very distant and away from God, maybe they don't really care too much about God, but hey, they've been your friend for 15 years,
Yeah.
and that quote, I guess, reminded me of why would you watch this friend, this family member, this brother or sister of yours walk themselves to a pathway to hell?
Mm.
And I think oftentimes we fear hurting the relationship. We fear, oh, I don't want to say something because I don't want to create tension between us. Oh, I don't want to make them feel like I'm better, than them. And so we just choose to hide our love. We hide our love, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to just treat them like they're not literally walking down a pathway to hell, knowing that, hey, sometimes life will turn around for you, and through time they'll change. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's that as well. And it was something that really hit me. And, of course, I think we all have friends and family who maybe aren't so in alignment with God as we may be, or, and things like that. And it's not that we're better. It's our journey's different, and our calling and our purpose is different. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that calling and purpose is to help those people out around us, and including the people that are closest to you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think that was such a cool perspective shift of you say something, have the courage to say something, have the courage to plant the seed in your
Mm-hmm.
brother, sister, mom, dad, close friend, whoever it is
Yeah.
that comes to mind, have the courage and just watch what God does. Just
Mm-hmm.
watch. You plant that seed, however that may go, even if they're like, okay, and then, and they just completely ignore you. You just watch what God can do if you plant that seed in there. And even if nothing ever changes, you know that you tried.
Yeah.
You know that you did your best to help them, to steer them, and to
Mm-hmm.
plant, that seed of God within
Yeah.
them. So
Definitely. I
there
agree.
but it was just yeah, a crazy perspective shift, and it showed me, wow, like 5 words just changed everything in my mind. It's just that quickly. Yeah, yeah. So it's just so powerful, so powerful. But well, Jasmine, what does the future look like for you? What are some of the goals that you have for your life, for your career, and for your walk with God as well?
Yeah. So I feel like it's I have so many things. But um I think that I want to continue I'm going to continue to get closer to God. I think that I'm a work in progress, and I'm always going to be a child of God. And so I'm always looking for guidance from God. And so I'm always wanting to talk to him, and just listen to what he has to say. And so that's my walk with God. But as far as the purpose that I think that he has for me and all these things that I'm doing, I want to continue to do my podcast. As I think that the feedback that I get from it is, I would say, 98% positive. So it's pretty
That's
good.
really good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Some people actually, it honestly surprised me because I was like, people might just be like, this girl just needs to be quiet. But actually, they were like, you have some really good points. I agree with you. Or actually, I hear what you're saying, but like, what about this? Like, what if you talk about this? And they're really respectful about it. And I appreciate that. And so I do want to continue to ramble and talk about things and have people, be receptive or come up with other ideas that I can also think on. When it comes to my PhD in research, I think that as I'm doing it, I've learned where the gaps are. I've learned that there are like organizations that help out survivors of domestic violence, like they do great things like shelters and counseling for them and things like that. All good stuff. They're focused on treatment, but a lot of these places don't allow a lot of research for liability reasons. But I think that my dissertation emphasizes the need for there to be a relationship between the two, because doing the work and helping them is important, but also knowing like how they perceive that and like how they can grow from that and what was useful and what wasn't useful is also important. So yeah, I think that that's my goal with that, is to get into helping bridge that gap in that relationship. So
Yeah. Well, what a beautiful goal that is, and I hope it comes to success with you as well. I think it would be very impactful.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think everyone should go check out the Stream of Thought podcast. Probably one of the most genuine, real podcasts that you will watch. And I just love how it's your thoughts right out there. It's not scripted. It's just real. It's real and it's genuine. And I think there's so much that can be learned from you and through the wisdom that God has given you. And so absolutely think everyone should go check that out. Outside of the Stream of Thought podcast, is there any other places that you would like to, I guess, talk about and have people go see more of you on?
That's the main thing. I'm on Instagram on the Stream of Thought podcast. And then I'm also on YouTube. I do have, and I'll just do this as a little shameless plug a little bit.
Go ahead.
But I haven't been using it as much, but I want to get back to it. So I have another Instagram called Cozy Chic Living, because it's all about home decor and decorating and baking and all the fun things that I like to do. And so, like I said, I haven't posted it in a while, but I plan to get back to it. And that's another fun little hobby of mine. So
I think that is wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast and sharing your experiences and sharing your light. I truly appreciate it personally, and I'm hoping it can also help other people as well. So I think I will, of course, will leave all your links in the description, and hopefully we'll have you back on someday here soon in the future as well, and we can kind of catch up and see where you're at with everything. So I'm really excited for what you're doing in this world.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode, and we will catch you guys next Wednesday for the next episode as well. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.